Morning, humans. This morning I would like to talk about prayer. One of my favorite movies is To Save a Life. It's a great movie. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but I recommend it. But one of my favorite scenes from that movie is when the protagonist Jake gets on his knees and he starts off his prayer by saying, "God, I don't know if I'm allowed to be angry with you, but I am." I love the fact that the moment he starts talking to God, he is talking to him with complete, brutal and messy honesty. That he's not approaching God with a mask on, that he's not approaching God with a veil, that he is being upfront about what he thinks and about what he feels. And a lot of people today, they don't do that. There are so many people who don't pray to God because they don't know what to say, or they say they don't know how to pray, or they say that the things they want to talk about aren't worth God's time. Or when they pray, they say a lot of stuff that sounds good and that seems right to say, but they don't really mean it. Their hearts are screaming a lot louder than all the dribble that's coming out of their lips. Does it not occur to you that approaching God and speaking to him about something when your heart is saying something else is like approaching Superman with a mask on? I mean, seriously, Superman has X-ray vision. He can see right through your disguise. Don't you think God can too when you say something else to him when you mean something else? Let's not be dishonest with God. Let's not forget that he already knows what we think and he wants us to say it to him, because that's what a relationship is all about. It's about telling the person who you're closest to exactly what you think and feel. God wants you to say what you think and feel, and the plus side is he already knows it, so you don't have to be nervous about saying it, because if you are afraid about how he'll react, chances are he already reacted when you already thought it. Guys, stop approaching God with a mask. Tell him what's on your heart. Yes, we're supposed to tell him what we need. Yes, we're supposed to pray for his kingdom to come. Yes, we're supposed to pray for our forgiveness and for him to help us forgive others. I do not deny that. I do not debate that. But one thing we should also do is talk to God with complete, utter, and brutal honesty. I have yelled at God many times. And if you think that's wrong of me to do, I suggest you read the book of Jonah, because at least a quarter of that book was Jonah yelling at God and throwing a temper tantrum and moaning and criticizing God's personality. But God still used him. And on top of that, God responded to what he was saying, because that's how relationship works. You tell the person you love what you're thinking and feeling, and they respond to your honesty. And then you grow together. The closer I get to God, the more brutally honest I am with him. The more I don't waste time saying things that I don't believe. And yes, I make prayers of faith, sure. But even when I start off those prayers of faith, I tell God, I'm having a hard time believing this, but I know what you can do, so help me to trust in you. Let me trust in you. And I pray for what I want or need in that moment. And there are times when I pray to God and I say, Lord, I want to talk to you, but I don't really know what to pray about. And because I've already started off telling him I don't know what I want to pray about, which is already praying itself, more things start popping up in my heart, and I speak to him. And I speak them. And then more things start popping up and I speak to them. First, I start speaking about silly things to God. And the next thing you know, serious things I didn't know what were on my mind start coming out of my mouth. 10 minutes later, I finish off my prayer saying, okay, God, I actually had a lot more to say than I thought. Thank you for helping me figure out what to say to you. And it all starts with honesty. Be honest. Be brutal. Be messy. Stop trying to give God perfect prayers and give him honest prayers. God sees through your words. He sees your heart. Seriously, you think you're going to offend him with what you say? He sees you poop every day. Approach God with honesty, and you will be surprised by what he says to you, by what he shows you, by what he does. And yeah, I'm not saying complain to God all the time or moan at God all the time. But what I'm saying is, if you are feeling some hurt feelings towards Him, don't hide them from Him. Tell Him and then move forward. And believe me, if you approach God with your hurts and with your grievances, He will help you move forward. And He will help you turn those complaining prayers to prayers of thankfulness. Don't hide your heart from God. He already sees it. I love you all. Have a great day.